it's Mayor K, and welcome to Mondays with Meir. Mark Twain said, there are two important days of a person's life: the day they were born and the day they find out why. Meaning, we all want it, we search for it, but where can we find it? Well, I take that back. Do we all search for it? Are we consciously looking out for meaning in our own lives? Do you ever ask yourself, what drives me? Why do I do what I do? Have you fallen into a pattern which seems to have gone stale? And what once made you feel whole and excited, now just makes you feel bored and uninterested? Okay, enough with the questions. In the 20th century, there were many professors, psychiatrists, and others who posed such questions and came up with reasons for people's drive to wake up in the morning and live. Sigmund Freud famously believed in the pleasure principle, the instinctual seeking of pleasure and avoiding of pain in order to satisfy biological and psychological needs. Pretty much to go through life feeling good, satisfying one's pleasure impulses, and avoiding pain and suffering. There's another approach that man's drive is the will to power. This was a prominent concept in the philosophy of Friedrich Nietzsche, and later expounded upon by the psychotherapist Alfred Adler. The will to power is the principle that a person's main drive in life is one of achievement, ambition, and to achieve the highest possible position in life. And then there's a third approach, the will to meaning. This principle was established by psychiatrist Viktor Frankl. The will to meaning believes that there's an inner pull, a drive to find a meaning in life. Viktor Frankl believed what Sigmund Freud thought was man's drive and purpose, pleasure, was just a byproduct of the fulfillment of such striving. And Alfred Adler's belief in power wasn't an end, but a means to an end. Thus, the pleasure principle mistakes a side effect for the goal, while the will to power mistakes a means for the end. And we see this play true as a society, which gets sick when the pleasure or power wills take over. They bring us into a state of wanting more, unsatisfied and unfulfilled beings, which leaves us with Viktor Frankl's school of thought, or the way he calls it, logotherapy. Logos is Greek for meaning. Okay, I know what you're thinking. It's all great, Meir, but what are you getting at? Meaning, what is it? So in his autobiography, Viktor Frankl breaks it down into three groups of values, three possibilities to find meaning in life: a deed we do or a work we create, an experience, a human encounter, love. When confronted with an unchangeable fate, a change in attitudes. These three possibilities of meaning seem so simple and easy to understand, but a meaning can't be taught, learned, or shared. As a matter of fact, there's no such thing as a universal meaning for everyone. Meaning is always personal. In other words, life gives each person an assignment, and one has to learn what that assignment is. But what is important to finding meaning in life definitely requires what Viktor Frankl calls self-transcendence, rising above one's own self. Being human always points and is directed to something or someone other than oneself. The more one forgets himself by giving himself over to a cause or another person to love, the more human he is. It's quite obvious that I'm a firm believer in Viktor Frankl's psychology, that as humans, we are not driven by pleasure or by power, but by meaning. To search for it and live a life of one. It's a lot to cover in one segment with Mondays with Meir. But if you'd like to read more about this topic, Viktor Frankl, logotherapy, I'll be throwing some links in the description below. Thank you so much for watching. Stay positive, be happy, and have a great week.